In this video, we're going to 3D model a house using some tools designed around the concept of SketchUp style modeling. And this is going to be done all in Unity using UModeler X. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Indie Game Hustle. I create videos that are designed to help you learn about new tools and hopefully encourage you. If you enjoy this video, please consider clicking the subscribe button and leaving a comment. All right, back to the video. All right, so to start with our house, the first thing we want to do is make sure that we have a point of reference in terms of scale. So I have a player armature here, and this is going to help us kind of make sure that the house is at least a general good height, right? All right, great. So with that said here, let's go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and click on this box here, and that's going to give us the ability to select from our list of tools. All right, so most of the time you're going to use the box tool to kind of start these things, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'll go ahead and click and drag out. And so with the box tool, you just kind of click and drag. And for now, I'll just go ahead and focus on just getting the right height. So if I click and let go, just getting an understanding, our house roof could be about that. The door would probably be about 2 meters up. So we have about right there. I think that's pretty good. And in terms of the width of a door, you could go 2 meters for the width as well, or you can go like 1.5 for the door. It's really up to you. But in this case, we'll kind of eyeball it and see. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is start to kind of get a general shape of the house. So we're going to go ahead and just move this like this. And let's see, maybe about that thickness. And I'll go ahead and grab the face on the top, maybe bring it up just a little bit more. All right, great. All right, so the next thing I'll do is go ahead and add a line here. We want to kind of create the roof here. So I want to go ahead and go into my tools, and I'll go ahead and select we can probably use a couple different tools, but I'll use the polyline tool. And if you take the polyline tool and you move it across the edge, you'll see it kind of sticks. That's going to be the center point. So I'm going to click, and then I'll go on the other side and click, and that's going to be our center point. And then what I'll do is go ahead and pull that upwards like so. So I'll just go boop, just like that. And that looks pretty good. So of course, that looks like a nice little house, I think, there. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the base, the back of this here, and I'll bring it maybe about there. Looks pretty good. Maybe a little longer, maybe about right here. All right, great. All right, and again, this is just SketchUp style modeling right in Unity. It's really good using UModeler X. All right, so the next thing we want to do is create another part of the house, and I'm going to bring it off to the side here. So we're going to use the cut tool or the knife tool to cut into the side here. So what I'll do is, as you can see, we have this yellow here. I'm going to cut so I can understand where the center is. All right. And then what I'll do is now go back to the tool. And then I'm going to, let's see here. I can either use this center to kind of gauge there, and then do the same thing over here. All right, perfect. So that helped me kind of average, that this is the center as opposed to just kind of clicking anywhere. All right. So what I'm going to do now is delete that center edge. So that was just to help us get that. Now, the next thing I'll do is go ahead and use the knife tool again. And we want to click on this point, and I'm going to bring it here. And that's going to be a straight edge. So instead of the center now, when it clicks, that just means it's a straight point from here to here. So I'm going to click there, and then go back to my knife tool, click here, and then we'll click until it point like that. Perfect. All right. And so now I'm going to go to my face tool, and I'm going to grab both of these, and then I'm just going to hold down shift and extrude this out like so. And we can go as far as we want. I'll say maybe around here is pretty good. And what I'll do now is take this point here and I'm going to kind of pull it forward like that. And that's kind of what we want to do. And we kind of have that kind of line up with there. And you can use some other tools like the alignment tool where you can make sure everything aligns on a particular axis. So if you need it to, you can select the proper one. So the X will be there. Perfect. So that's going to be completely flat and that is great. So right off the gate already, we have a nice little house here. And so now I want to adjust this a little bit more. So I'm going to grab this face here and bring this out because I want this to be a little longer. And the back of it as well. So I want to kind of pull this out a little bit, just like so. And I actually want the sides to be a little shorter. So let's go ahead and do maybe something like this. Let's kind of pull this back. But of course, this is your own home. You can make it any way you choose to. All right. All right. So it's looking pretty good here. So now what I want to do is use some of the great tools here in terms of cutting out windows. Okay. So now we have windows. We have our player here. I'm going to go ahead and move this little character here. Again, this is all about reference. And so we just want to make sure that this is always around and ready. So the idea is I want to have a door somewhere and I want this character or this amateur armature here to be able to get through that door. All right, so I'm going to put him here. And what I'll do is select my object. And what I'll do now is select polyline tool. And actually, you can use the polyline tool. Instead, though, I think I'm going to use the rect tool. And I'm going to just click somewhere here, maybe about there. And as you can see, maybe I want the door about that height. We can kind of click and let go just like that. Now, if you want to adjust the height, you still can. You can just select these points and bring this down about right there if you like. And I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. And then so now what we want to do is create that same door as well somewhere else. So what we'll do is go ahead and create another door and we'll just kind of eyeball it in this case and say I want a door on this side like so. And what I'll do is go ahead and now adjust this as needed. And we can take these points and just select them and makes it super easy. Great. So that's not too bad, pretty close there. All right, so the next thing we want to do is now make some windows. All right, so to make some windows, we can again use the rect tool and I'll put a window right here next to the door. And all I'm going to do is kind of drag and just kind of eyeball that a little bit, just like so. So that looks pretty good, I would say. And then for this side here, I would like to put a window above here. Actually, I'll make it a little higher, just like that. Looks pretty good. And then I'll put one on the side as well, like that. Great. Now those are a couple entrance windows there. Don't need one here, just one for the side. Now we're going to put a window in on the side or the back of the house. So we can put a larger window here. Maybe something like this. And we can adjust it by either selecting the edges and just kind of moving this around. It's kind of up to you how you want to do this. It's just great to have this SketchUp style modeling directly in here. And then what I'll use is the polyline tool. And what I'll do is actually go ahead and click here and create a interesting window that kind of gives us this feel. And now we can kind of adjust it as needed to kind of make it feel like it matches this here. Great, that looks pretty good. Now there is another way we can actually do this a little differently. I'll go ahead and delete that, and I can show you a even better way we can approach that. We can use the same polyline tool to connect these 2 points, but then what I'll do is use the inset tool, and I can actually create that. Great. And so now we have that there. That looks really good. Great. Nice little window there. And we can put a couple more windows on the side here. So I'll go ahead and use the rectangle tool to do a window maybe just like that. And we can do another window just like that. Now I'm not using accurate numbers, but if you wanted to, what you can do is do a click and drag here. So if this was a window, you can do something like this. Now you can actually set it. So say this was 2 and 3 as your size here. And so what we'll do is click now again, and then we'll just do 2 and 3. And so now you have 2 windows that are exactly the same size there. Great. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I think the next step for us is to actually go ahead and make those areas delete. So we can delete this here by deleting, and all we have to do is select the face and hit delete just like that. Pretty simple. Actually, in this case, what I want to do is make sure that this actually connected. So it looks like, let me go back and I'm going to delete this. And let's go ahead and try that inset tool again here. Make sure everything worked as expected. Go to my inset tool. And what I'm going to do is do bridge here. And so that gives us some corners there, just like that. And so now if I go ahead and select that face, now you have your hole there. Select that, and we select that. Great. All right. And so now we have a few different areas here. This here. Great. All right. So our house is looking pretty good. So the next step we want to do is use another good feature of uModeler X. With this is the it's called the shell tool, and really what it is a modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and select shell, and what it's going to do is by default it's going to create an inward wall. So as you can see, as I adjust this, the inside of this is getting tighter. And so what I want to do is actually do like a 0.25 maybe. And if I go into my X-ray mode, as you can see, if I go, actually, it's going to create a thickness here. And so it's creating that thickness, which is really nice. So all we have to do now, as you can see, let's see. Yeah, it's creating that thickness. Looks pretty good. As you can see, it's connecting those there. You can make it a little thicker if you want. We can go with maybe a 2, like a 0.3. Maybe a 0.3 is better. It just kind of depends on what you're going for. And then what I'll do now, if you can see, when I select in the modifier, select the source mesh, you can kind of get a sense as to how thick that really is. Is that too thick? We can make it a little thinner by just going back to our shell and just going back to 0.2. And then we can kind of get an idea what that's going to look like. That's not too bad, actually. Looks pretty good on the inside as well. So what I'll do now is go ahead and select my shell, and then I'm going to collapse it. And then once I collapse it, as you can see here, it went ahead and created that shell on the inside. Now we can select the faces and everything on this house. Everything is looking good. Now there's one more step that we can take with this, is if you see these areas here that are kind of darkened, really easy to reverse that. All we have to do is select those areas, and I'll go ahead and select them all by holding down this shift key. And you go down in your tools and you just go ahead and hit flip, and this is going just to flip those normals, and there you have it. And so we can just do that to all of these areas here that look dark, and you will be in good hands here. All right, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and just speed through this, flipping all the normals to make things really easy and visually clean. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I also hope you'll try using these SketchUp style tools directly in uModeler X. Honestly, it's really the best way to go. It's amazing that this functionality is built right inside of Unity. There's no other tool like it that offers this many features and this much flexibility. You can create pretty much anything you want. So, that's it for this video. I'll leave you here for now, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord or drop a comment below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.